Okay, so I'm going to do number 3 of the independent practice from 4.3. We didn't have that much for the independent practice. Now, guys, it's very important that you understand number 1 and 2, okay? Especially the restriction part. Domain and range is very important too, but the restriction part is important. For this, we have to go the other way. So first I'm going to ask you to find, this is a radical function. This is a square root function. I'm going to ask you to find the inverse of this. And so we have to understand that f of x is synonymous with y. Okay, and then we have x equals the square root of y plus 3. I am going to subtract 3 from both sides, so I have x minus 3 equals the square root of y. Now I'm going to square both sides, so I have y equals x minus 3 squared, y equals x minus 3 squared, or f of negative 1, x equals x minus 3 squared. Now, I also asked you to find the domain and range of both the function and its inverse. Okay, so let's look at this. We have the domain and we need the range. It's a square root function, so it's going to look something like this, especially that it doesn't have a negative here. So let's go ahead and get rid of that 0. Okay, so that it opens up like that, and this point is going to be 0, 3. Okay, so therefore the domain is going to be x is greater than or equal to 0, or it starts at 0 and goes to infinity. For the range, it's going to be y is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so it starts at 3 and goes to infinity. Okay, now for the domain and range of the inverse, it's a parabola. It's a parabola that looks like this. Okay, with the vertex at 3, 0. Okay, but since it being an inverse of this function right here, it can't be the entire parabola. It can't, because this is only one portion of this parabola. This is one portion. If this was the inverse, then I would have to have this portion right here. Okay, so which means that the domain and range of the inverse is not all real numbers for the domain. Okay, so we look at the domain and range for the original function, and then we can derive the domain and range for the inverse. So we look at the domain, for the domain we look at the range, so that x is greater than or equal to 3, or it goes from, well, it includes 3 and goes to infinity. And then we look at, for the range, we look at the domain, so y is greater than or equal to 3, so 0 to infinity. So, which means that it's only taking this portion right here of the parabola. The inverse is not this portion right here. Okay? That's all I wanted. Good job.